Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a first look at Elementary OS. As per the Biddle challenge this week, I installed Elementary on my second laptop, and this is going to be my initial reactions. The only things I did was I installed OBS and Simple Screen Recorder in order to record this, but I did that from the command line. So when I look at the graphical app store or whatever, it will be my initial reaction to it. Anyway, so far it took me a while to get the audio working, right? And now I'm trying to find a way to minimize this here to get it out of the way. There we go. So I just clicked it and that minimized it. So let's just have a little look around here. See what we got in the dock down here. My initial thoughts going to their website. Now, we're going to go into this understanding that they're not trying to copy Apple. Okay, we're gonna get that out of the way now. The official response is they're not trying to emulate Mac OS. Now we'll see if that kind of pans out here. But I haven't looked at Elementary for a while. Last time I tried it, the repositories broke, but that was like a long time ago. So we'll see if what it does here. See what we got in the dock here. We got multitasking view. Oh, so it looks like a workspace switcher. Now let's go back to this one. Epiphany. Looks like a web browser. Don't mind this, I was just testing the audio. It looks like it remembers where I was. Before I go in, let's go just to DuckDuckGo then. See how this works. Never really tried this web browser. Not really sure what is based on or what it is. It looks like maybe it's based on Chromium, maybe. Obviously I want to block pop-ups, obviously. Oh, it's based on Firefox. Okay. Interesting. I have to say, it does look like, before I came to Linux way back in like 2010, I was pretty much exclusively a Mac user. And so I might have a different take on some of this than some people. But without further ado, let's just keep this going here. Mail. What's this? Is this going to be Thunderbird or is this going to be something else? Wants me to enter my email. Enter my super secret password that only Google and all their advertisers know. Okay. So this is their email client. Doesn't look like Thunderbird or any mail client I've ever seen. It looks like they've got some pretty original apps here going, and it's interesting. Just see how it opens up. Okay, I do have some thoughts on this so far. Check out the calendar. It's pretty basic. Let's see what this does. That just makes it full screen. Okay. Export the shared calendar. Oh. It's pretty neat. Music. See what kind of music app they've got. Well, I don't have any music on this computer, so And we got videos, photos. What kind of photo app do they got? Looks like Shotwell. Is this Shotwell? I wonder if I can... That opens up applications. It's like Shotwell. But it's not saying that it's Shotwell. I wonder if I'll try to find out what that is. Okay, let's check out the videos here. So just a basic video player. Pretty neat. These might be just like original apps to the desktop environment. Deepin's got a few of those too. It's not a terrible idea. If it makes the user experience more streamlined, smoother. Now we got the system settings here. Let's see. I wonder if there's a way to change this theme here. Oh, that changes the default desktop. Make that default dock. When I ran Mac, I like to keep the dock at least out of the way, and I like to make it I do like to make it auto hide. Just because it's like, what's the point? Let's check out the App Center. See what they got in here. And we'll try to install like maybe a simple app to see how it goes. Let's see if we got... Oh, that's interesting. See, this is the one thing I give a graphical software center. Sometimes you don't know what you're looking for. Sometimes you just want to just like peruse through and see what they got, and if they have like screenshots of the app and descriptions of what they do, maybe you discover something new pretty much every day. Well, looks like I got 2 new updates. They're gonna wait. See what we got here. Oh. Okay. I'm just gonna look through and see if I can find a simple application here. And I'm gonna try to install Stellarium. I'm gonna check to see what version it has. Of course, it's free. Does it tell me what version it is? 18.0. That's a version behind. They're on 19.2, I think. That's good enough, though. It's good enough for this experiment. See if it'll install. Install non-curated app. Stellarium is not curated by Elementary and has not been reviewed for security, privacy, or system integration. That's kind of a scary message if you're new to it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and install it anyway. This is why we do this stuff on a secondary machine. I enter in my super secret password. That's definitely not elementary OS. Downloading. And this is my first time installing an app through this particular app center. It's because I wanted to get my initial reaction to the way that it behaves. That's why I installed Screen Recorder through the command line, because it'd be the same on Debian or Ubuntu or whatever. There's nothing new there that I haven't seen before. So, so far, I don't know what I think about that message there. I guess it's fair to say that, like, hey, this might not work on your system, or might not work as intended. So we got ourselves a little app menu here. So up here, you can change that. Oh. Well, I kind of like it this way better. Let's see if the app installed. See if it works just fine. And I might do a video where I just explore in this app here. This is Stellarium. It's a virtual planetarium, and it's running just fine. So it installed it just fine. So far, this one, as far as graphical software installers go, so far this has been one of the smoother ones that I've encountered. GNOME Software Center can be kind of quirky, I guess, depending on the distro. K-Discover, forget that. I guess you couldn't really consider Synaptic or Octopi as graphical. I wouldn't call them, like, I would call this a software store. I would call something like Octopi or Synaptic a graphical package manager, because it's not giving you, screenshots or anything like that. Now I would say PAMAC, maybe you could say that's a graphical software store, but or the closest thing you're going to get to it in that distro family, but yeah. Interesting. See what we got. Do we have any Office applications? Just a calendar, so it didn't install LibreOffice, but that's okay. You can easily get Libre. Programming says code. Just a text editor? Now keep in mind that I'm not a programmer, so this let's just see. This is pretty much the extent of my coding skills right here. Anything else that I managed to figure out is like a miracle. I give it a name. Hello. .sh maybe? Huh, so it's not bad. Nice little text editor here. I do prefer a darker theme. this does. 4 spaces. What does that mean? No idea. Like I said, that's pretty much the extent of my coding skills. Is like, maybe I can do a simple like bash script or something, like to get like an i3 block to produce the results of a command that I want or something, and I kind of learn how to do like the i3 stuff, but yeah, no, that's about as far as I can go with that. Matter of fact, let's see if it actually. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, bash isn't a file. Oh, it's just. Well, that can change in some distros. I put in the wrong path for the crunch, bang, whatever you call that top line there. Anyway, let's continue to peruse through here. Looks like we got ourselves a app menu here. Got a calculator, screenshot. Guess that's the extent of that. And we got photos, Epiphany, mail, office, programming, science. I just installed that. I did not install VLC. It looks like it came with 2 video players, which is that's a good idea. Just because you include your own video player that integrates well with your particular desktop environment. In this case, is Pantheon, and if that doesn't work, you have VLC to fall back on, which pretty much works with everything, really. And the same for music, because you got 2 separate apps here, one for music, one for videos, and VLC does them both. So you really got a fallback application for both of these things here, and that's a pretty good idea. So we got ourselves a terminal, App Center, multitasking view, system settings. We got files. Let's check out the file manager here. Okay. Let's just check something out here. If I can. Okay. So I guess they can't do that. I'll get into what I just checked there. Before I get into this and give my final thoughts on my initial impression, and I'm going to try to play with this during the week and maybe come to Biddle with a more final thoughts, but so far my initial thoughts. There are significant differences between this and Mac OS. For example, the structure, this isn't exactly the same. It's obviously not as resource heavy, and there's certain differences. But, big but, here's the thing. As far as the aesthetics go, as far as these applications go, I'm not sure that I buy that they're not trying to emulate Mac. And the reason I say that is because, I've been away from Mac for a while, okay? So, maybe things have changed with Apple. But, from what I've seen here, And from what I remember from when I was on Mac back in the day, a lot of these apps are clones of, or they seem to be emulating Apple's default applications. Not to mention, you got the dock, you got the top bar on the top, and that's very Mac-like as well. Or the arrangement of the information up here is a little bit different, and you don't got anything like this in Mac, or you do, but it's on the dock. You know, the applications folder. Basically, their start menu. Unless they stop that, I don't know. It's been a while, like I said, kind of dating myself here, but yeah. If you've ever used a Mac, or if you've ever, you would know this looks a lot like Safari, the web browser. Apple does have or at least they used to have a default mailing client, and this looks a lot like their mailing client. And the colors, the grayscale, the way that the icons are set like that, that's a lot like Mac as well. And so, and like, I know that I did hear that Apple did kill iTunes, or they kind of integrated it right into the Finder or something like that. But this looks a lot like iTunes too, from what I remember. I remember that Apple had a video player that would just pop up and kind of stay out of the way. Why am I saying all these things? Well, it's because, look, I'm not knocking the operating system here. It seems very smooth and it seems very stable. I haven't really thrown anything too difficult at it, so I mean, who knows? I could end up breaking it before the end of the week. But why am I saying this? It's not to criticize the stability or the usability or anything of this operating system. Okay, it seems pretty legit. However, and I don't have a problem with them emulating Mac OS. Right? There are a lot of other desktop environments that pride themselves on the fact that they create a familiar, usable experience for the user, like such as Cinnamon emulating Windows 7, or and XFCE saying like, okay, we're going to be the new XP, and we're giving you this familiar user environment so that the transition isn't as difficult. Okay, they pride themselves on that. Now, if that's the route they want to go, but with Mac users, and say, okay, you're coming from Mac, here's an easy transition for you. You get set up, the interface is very familiar, and you're going to have little to no problems. Also, the way the system settings are, and from what I heard, a lot of the themes might not work. A lot of things might not be fully curated or compatible with this, and that makes it kind of locked in, and that's kind of Apple-ish as well. But what I'm going to get to is this: is that from what I understand, the Elementary team denies that they're trying to emulate Mac OS. But as you've seen, I've gone through these applications, and I don't think anybody who's used Mac in any serious capacity is gonna buy that. I'm sorry, I just don't. And my whole thing is that, like, to me, they're clearly trying to emulate Mac, and that's fine if that's what they're doing. My issue is not that they're doing that. My issue is that they're doing it, and then they're denying that they're doing it. And I think that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what the word for that is. And again, I'm not knocking the operating system. It seems very smooth. I mean, I can use it. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and I'm just being honest about them. And you could disagree with me. You can feel free to disagree with me. I will leave a link to the distro and to the distro's homepage and the Elementary's homepage in the description. And if you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe. And I might do a live chat a little bit later today, maybe. Depending on how busy I am, or maybe. See, the next day I get off is Friday, so if I don't do it today, it'll probably be over the weekend sometime. But yeah, no. Those are my thoughts, my initial honest thoughts, and anybody can feel free to disagree with me in the comments. But make sure you tell me why you disagree, if you do, because I'd be interested to read about that. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna go and finish my laundry, and I will catch you guys later. Have a great day.